How are you lovely people doing today? My name is John, and welcome to another beautiful episode of the Zombie Storyline Q&A. This is the series where I take your questions about the zombie storyline and I answer them. Whether you have a big, a small, or a simple question, it does not matter. I am more than happy to take on your questions. There are two ways you can leave them. You can either leave them down in the comments below, or you can tweet me at JohnnyJ25, and maybe while you're there, you could drop me a follow. That would always be much appreciated. Twitter is probably one of the best ways to get in touch with me. I'm always on it, probably more than I'd like to admit. Enough of this intro nonsense though, let's get rocking and rolling with today's episode. What I have for you is a comment from ZXErk who asks, when you teleport on the giant you see zombie Richtofen and a normal Richtofen. Of course, this isn't exactly a question, but this has been something that I've been asked a ton of times. Many people see this zombie Richtofen and they ask me, John, what exactly is this? What does this mean? And are there any sort of hints or clues that we can take from this image? Now, initially, I wanted to wait to tackle this question because when we first saw it, there was a lot of things left to discover on the giant. Many people thought there was a whole nother Easter egg left to find, and unfortunately, as time went on, we found very little. Sure, more ciphers were discovered and decoded, but nothing really gave us a good lead as to what this image is or where we might see this image like in-game, or at least get information about it in-game. Because the interesting thing about the giant was we were given a lot of imagery that we didn't see in-game or didn't quite know how to activate in-game or get any information to. For example, there's this clip of Richtofen falling into a black pit, and we have no idea why Treyarch decided to include that into the trailer. So that's why I wanted to wait until time had passed, and I think a month has gone by, over a month, and I think I'm safe to tackle this question. So what's up with this Richtofen? Well, we see him in multiple places in Black Ops 3. You can find him in Shadows of Evil by activating the jump scare, and you can also see him when you teleport. Now this is pretty interesting. I'll play it again, this time slowed down. You'll notice that within this white center orb we see two Richtofens split off. We see a normal Richtofen, and then we see a zombified Richtofen. So the interesting thing about this picture of Richtofen as a zombie is that we can see the exact moment in the intro of the giant where the artist turned him into a zombie. This is a scene from the giant intro, and then when you overlay the picture of Richtofen, they're pretty similar, and in fact the features match up very well. And then when you put them side by side, it becomes pretty obvious. I mean, we can see the backgrounds are pretty much the same. The heads are in the right place. I mean, this is the moment in time that they just took Richtofen and then zombified him. It's pretty hard to dispute that. Now, this begs the question, what is Treyarch trying to get at? We have two moments from the same exact time, except things are drastically different. In one instance, Richtofen is his regular deranged self, and then in another instance, he is very zombified. I mean, his face looks totally deformed. What happened here? It almost plays into the idea of alternate universes, which is a big thing going on within Black Ops 3 zombies right now. What if in one universe Richtofen is his evil self, and we know this universe as the Giant? However, in another universe, Richtofen was actually zombified before he sent the players in through the before he sent Maxis and Samantha through the teleporters. It could very well be what's going on, and then when we see them in the teleporter, it's almost like a universal convergence, which is an idea that we had suggested to us in Shadows of Evil. We know it exists in the zombie storyline because Nero specifically mentions it and points to things in the map as universal convergences. So we're seeing universes spill into one another whenever we're using the teleporter, or what it could be is we're seeing the formation of universes. We're seeing space and time split from each other, and that's why they're going in alternate directions. This, of course, is a theory and just one way to explain why we're seeing a zombie Richtofen. It still doesn't exactly get to the heart of why Richtofen is a zombie. Another idea I would mention as to why Richtofen could be a zombie is that maybe when he died, his flesh was just reanimated by Element 115. That's of course what it does. That's its thing. That's where all these zombies come from. Dead bodies are being reanimated, and it's not too far-fetched to say that when Richtofen shoots himself, his dead body then will come back as a zombie, and that's what we're looking at. And it just sort of stood up in the exact place that it died, and that's why the backgrounds look very similar. Just that doesn't answer the question of why Richtofen doesn't come back to life in this map. Maybe though, when Richtofen bends down in front of himself, what he does is something that prevents himself from becoming a zombie, and that's why in this realm we don't see Richtofen do that. And maybe in an alternate universe, Richtofen doesn't bend down and prevent himself from becoming a zombie, and then he comes back as a zombie, and we see him as universes converge when we're going through the teleporter. Some other things I would like to debunk. A lot of people might say that this is actually just a reference to future DLC, and I don't think that's the case, just purely because the backgrounds are exactly the same. I just think that this is a specific reference to the Giant. I don't think it would be a reference to a map like Der Eisendrache. It just doesn't make much sense. I mean, this background is the Giant. There's no denying. There is also the idea that Treyarch just threw this in there for fun. They had an artist turn Richtofen into a zombie, and then they threw it into the game just to mess with the players, and that is always a possibility when we're working with Treyarch. We don't know all the methods to their madness. We just know they have crazy ideas and orchestrate them into their games, and not always can they be explained. That's going to wrap things up, though, for this episode of the Zombie Storyline Q&A. There are many different ways you can take this zombified Richtofen, but I hope this gives you an idea and allows you to make your own opinion as to why we're seeing this zombified Richtofen. If you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a like or possibly subscribe for more episodes of the Zombie Storyline Q&A every week. I'm going to try to do multiple every week. I know I've fallen off the ball as of lately, but I'm getting back into the swing of things, and if you enjoyed this episode, I'm sure you'll love the next one. You can either leave your comments down below or you can tweet me at JohnnyJ25. I'm gonna go though. Have a great day and bye.